Welcome to Bird Bites. My name is Dan, and today I have all sorts of different type of bird food set up for your outdoor bird feeders. And I'm going to walk through every single one of these on here. These are fairly common, and just talk through each one and the types of birds that you can attract with the different types of bird feed. You'll find all of these typically at your local bird store. You can find them on Amazon, or also if you have like a hardware store, Home Depot, Menards, you'll find this all there too. So I want to start off with sunflower seed. Sunflower seed is my top pick, especially if you are brand new to bird feeding, because it's relatively inexpensive. You're going to get the widest variety of birds with one type of seed, including some of the favorites. So if you live in their range, you'll see some cardinals, you'll see finches, you'll see certain types of woodpeckers munching on this, you'll see nuthatches, and this is all just from one seed. What I have in particular here, it's not only black oil sunflower seed, but I also have safflower and a few peanut bits in here, because I buy, if you're a Costco member, one of the best deals you can get, and this is not me being sponsored, this is just me. If you want to save some money and probably find the best deal, buy this 30-pound bag of cardinal blend at Costco, mostly black oil sunflower seeds, some safflower seed and peanut bits, and it'll last you forever. It's about $20 to $25. And it's a great deal. So if you're starting from step one, get yourself some sunflower seed. It can be shelled or unshelled. Either is perfectly fine, and the birds are going to love that, and you're going to get a ton of variety. And like I said, relatively inexpensive. Step two, also inexpensive and really easy to use and operate, is just buy yourself a simple suet cage for $5 to $10 and put in a suet cake to drive woodpeckers to your bird feeding station. Woodpeckers love suet in particular. You're going to get downy woodpeckers, the red belly woodpeckers, but you're also going to get our friendly nuthatches that I mentioned earlier. Cardinals like suet, especially in the winter time, and you might also see blue jays liking this. But if you want to add specifically woodpeckers to your bird feeding arsenal, as I might say, just get yourself a suet cage and add a little cake in there. The suet cakes are relatively inexpensive, $1 to $5, and you can find those just about anywhere. Suet is a great thing. That would be step two if I were you, starting from scratch. Bouncing around a little bit, because one of my favorite things to feed birds lately is peanuts. Just peanuts. You're going to want to get specific peanuts that are unsalted, not anything that you probably get at a supermarket, but you'll find these at a bird store or a hardware store. They're typical peanuts. You can get peanut bits or peanuts in the shell. I'd recommend you can probably start with out of the shell, because it's going to be the easiest to set out and the easiest for your birds to get. Peanuts are my secret weapon if you want to get some blue jays coming to your yard. Blue jays go bananas for peanuts. But also, I found that cardinals really like peanuts, especially in the wintertime. Chickadees, black-capped chickadees, really love peanuts. They also love sunflower seed and just about anything. The chickadee, one of our favorites, here on the shirt, right on the top. Peanuts are also just really good for nuthatches too. So you're going to get a ton of different birds with peanuts, which is something I discovered relatively recently. So I'd highly recommend, if you have another bird feeder, or if you want to simply mix them in with your sunflower seeds, you're going to get even more variety with your birds if you add in some peanuts. Jumping back here, what this mostly is, I specifically got this from a wild bird store, but I want to talk about Nyjer seed. Nyjer seed, if you look at here, it's specifically the little black seed, very oily stuff, very tiny. And I'd recommend this if you're looking for goldfinches, if you're in their range. Goldfinches really like this in particular, along with any other finch. So you're going to get the house finches coming to your yard too, and cardinals, and I've even seen woodpeckers eating Nyjer seed from my feeder sometimes. So this is really great if you want those colorful finches, especially in the spring. You might even get some rare migratory birds who like this kind of seed. So this is another thing that you can put out in a feeder where they're really, really going to like this. I in particular have a little finch blend from my bird store, which is mixed with sunflower chips, which just, they're going crazy for that right now. All the finches and some goldfinches too. Something interesting that I have right here are mealworms. This is the dried variety, but you can also get wild or live mealworms from your bird store. Mealworms are great for chickadees. Chickadees will eat just about anything, but I think that I haven't seen chickadees gobble something up as fast as mealworms. And they're pretty cheap. You can get these from Amazon, like a good bag for like $8 to $10, and it's really, really good. I also see cardinals like mealworms, and I haven't done this yet, but I've heard that you might even get robins or bluebirds if you're in their range. range with mealworms. And especially in the spring and summertime months, you might find a wide variety of birds who really like having an insect, some added protein when they're migrating through their range. So mealworms, another great option. If you're looking to further your bird feeding addiction like myself, that's a nice thing to put out there. And then the last thing that I want to highlight here, I have a mix that I kind of put together, but what I mostly have in this container is what we call white millet. Now, white millet, it's kind of a mixed bag, but white millet is really good if you're looking for mourning doves in particular. Mourning doves are really, really great bird, really big bird that you can draw in, but you can also get dark-eyed juncos in the wintertime if you're in their range. Juncos really like that here at my bird feeders in Minnesota, especially with millet. If you're able to do so, just sprinkle some on the ground. You're going to see all sorts of juncos, hopefully native sparrows. You'll probably get some house sparrows too, is the downside with millet though that I like to highlight. If you're not looking for a bunch of house sparrows, I would actually avoid putting millet into your feed because that tends to draw them in. But it could be a necessary evil if you're looking for a wider variety of birds like those mourning doves. And in the spring, indigo bunting, a really, really rare bird that a lot of people want. White millet is going to be your key to success, sprinkled on the ground, and that's going to draw those in there too. So we have all sorts of different kinds here. What would I recommend? Start with sunflower seed. If you've got nothing else, start there. You're going to get a ton of birds, and you're probably going to be happy with that. But if you want to extend out, get yourself a suet cake, and then it all kind of depends on what you're looking for. I would also add in peanuts into the trio of essentially must-haves right here. And then these right here are kind of supplementary depending on if you want to add more birds or if you want a specific bird like a goldfinch or maybe some bluebirds or some doves with the millet. So get yourself some bird seed and then you can find the feeders and go from there. But this is just a really, really fun part of the hobby is the variety of food that you can put out and the different types of species you can attract. It's really, really rewarding to see them come to your yard.